Yeah. Going live in just a few here. And we are good. Excellent. What's up, Hacksters? It is late on a Tuesday evening or early on a Wednesday morning, and I've been messing around with some projects to the point that I haven't really gotten anything that's ready to show yet, but it means that I'm here and I'm coming up with a kind of last minute video, but it has a bunch of really cool stuff for you. So straight to the point. First up, we're going to solder this kit together. It's designed from DEF CON. I've had it sitting in my office for a million years and never put it together, and who doesn't love a little late night soldering? Second, I have another badge that we're going to take a look at. Okay, I'll show you. This one that has a couple tricks up its sleeve, and will probably get a song stuck in your head. And then, finally, we have this, a little electronic guy, which is programmable, and we're going to try and see if we can do that for the first time. A friend gave it to me. I love it, and I've never actually tried to program it with my own GIFs. It's reprogrammable. It's a little LCD screen, and it's gorgeous, and there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with it. But first, let's get this badge soldered together. I got it out of a vending machine during Teardown, I think, the Teardown conference. This was at a hackerspace in Portland, I think, and I forget what the name of the hackerspace was because I'm terrible. Let's see if this piece of paper has anything to say about it. It clearly is some kind of an LED light up guy, possibly blinky, probably blinky. It's got two LEDs out, and you've got a little, probably a 555 timer or an @tiny. What is it? @tiny 45. So a small amount of memory on there. And oh, look at how nice and sophisticated this is. Who made this? 80386.sx/jack. Let's take a look. That's the wrong window. Stop. Oh, you can't see it anyway. Good. I have some of my secret plans up. Okay, here. Here's DEF CON, the conference coming up this year on August 6th through 9th, but there's also different ones. And let's see. So 80386.sx/jack. Oops. Put that the wrong way around. That's what I get. Okay, yeah. Who is this? Happy Blinking Lights. Who is this? Who are you? KMM? Physical design and artwork by Mar. Engineering, production, and these words by KMM. DEF CON, the smiley motif, and associated material belong to DEF CON Communications. Tested on animals in beautiful Woodland Park, Colorado. Aw, that's great. So, let's get this going. You can use it as a choker or whatever. Exciting. They've got all these, they tell you how to solder. That's so cool. Chip, etc. The button are orientation dependent. Makes sense. Install and solder the front side components first. Suggested order resistors first, then the chip, a capacitor, a transistor, then two diodes. Those are the LEDs. So D1 and D2. Clip the tails after soldering. Ooh, they're RGB LEDs. Nice. Then put the button on the back. Oh, BT1 is a battery. Duh. That's why it's polar, orientation sensitive. Neat. Oh, Jack's eyes change color with the ambient temperature. Oh, that's not it is a transistor. Then where is the temperature sensor? How does it know what temperature is? I don't know. Like an @tiny 45 wouldn't have that built in, would it? But that's the only way I can think of that it would have temperature sensitivity. Well, okay. Let's put this together. So first up, we've got R1 through R4. So this is the front of the badge. Where's my resistors? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. R1 is brown, black, red, which is this one. And that is 1, 0, brown, 2. So that's 1000 ohms, 1 kilo ohm. Didn't fold that close enough to the center of the resistor. So now the leg's a little bit wonky, but we can deal with it. There we go. R2. There is an R2 and there is a D2. That makes me happy. R2 is this guy. Yellow, purple, blue. Oh, wait, no. That's yellow, purple, brown. We have 2 yellow, purple, browns and a yellow, purple, red. Oh, okay. 2 and 3 look like they're the same, and they're probably those brown ones. So one with a final brown stripe would be 10 times higher than one with a black stripe in that same position, in the third position, because the third stripe on a resistor, unless it has 5 stripes or some weird number like that, most resistors have 4 stripes that I'll come across in everyday use, through-hole resistors anyway. And it doesn't matter which way you put them in. And the first 2 colors represent a couple of digits that the number of the resistor value in ohms starts off with. And then the third color is basically, you know, I just think of it as the number of zeros you add at the end, which is a really simple way of putting it. It's the exponent on the 10 that you multiply it by. Yeah. Here we go. So, 10 to the 0 is 1, which means that you would be multiplying the existing number by 1, which means it stays the same, which is the same thing as adding zeros to the end of it, right? Not sure if that's totally coming through, but it's a nice little shortcut. Let's just solder these guys on in my traditional sort of lazy way. Don't need a third hand or anything. You just use this little bent piece of solder. I think I need to up my temperature. This lead-free stuff is not being very happy with me. In the meantime, let's look at what we should do next. The chip. It's interesting. So they're having you solder the chip directly into the board, which typically, this looks like a pretty simple board, and so you wouldn't necessarily have a socket on here. But if you were doing something really nice, you would want to have a chip socket that you would solder into the board, and then you would just slot the chip into the socket, so you didn't have to solder to it and possibly damage it. That's looking much nicer. Okay, cool. It's been a while since I've done any soldering on screen, I think. I really enjoy it. I used to put together these bold port kits back when the bold port club was like a monthly subscription. I still got some of those. I should still put them together. If you are interested in that, leave a comment and I will see it and be like, oh, I should solder some more things on the air. Especially if I'm like, doing a project all day and emails and visits and things. And then I just sort of don't want to think too much. A soldering project is a great way to handle that eventuality. This one is going to be pretty quick. But the bold port ones can be up to like a couple hours. Some of them are little synthesizers. Some of them are beautiful art pieces. Some of them are both. A lot of them are both. This isn't obviously the best angle for doing this at, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And we're getting the job done, so that's fine. I'm working to try and make sure that I'm bringing the soldering iron in from one side and the solder wire, the solder, in from the other, but it's not always working out like that because of how I'm holding it. There we go. See, that's kind of a nice solder joint. It's a little bit too convex for my liking, so I'll just scoot that down the leg of the resistor. It's a nice way to pull away any extra solder from the joint. Come on now. Yeah, lead-free is always a little bit more finicky. Although I've seen people do some pretty amazingly talented and intricate things with it, so it's definitely not a deal breaker. A little bit of extra solder to these first couple of joints here. That looks pretty good. So now I'm going to clip those off. Oops, there we go. Upside down clippers are no good. Cut them off flush as much as possible. The badge is cooled down a little bit so these joints are not painful, but make sure that you're not going to burn yourself. Of course. So next up it tells us to solder the IC, the chip. We're going to do that, and there should be a marking on here. There's a little dot here. I'm going to fix my focus. There is a little dot here that shows where pin 1 is, and there's also a little dot on the chip itself. So you just line those two up together. And often when you get chips, they have their legs slightly bent out like this. So I like to just use the table and kind of like bend them straight. Whoop, whoop. And that's a little bit better. Now they're almost going in a little bit. But that's pretty good. So dot at the top left. And we're going to put that in there. It's real close. There we go. Great. And I'm just going to set this down on the table so that I have a nice, pretty good connection there. And I'm going to tack solder one of the little joints on here. I'm just like soldering one of the little legs so that that stays in place, and I can kind of make sure that the chip is nicely seated before I do the other ones. So see how all those little legs are kind of flush with the surface? That's pretty good. Yeah, it's a little bit off. So maybe I'll like melt that a little bit. And we'll just hold it in place while that chills. All right. Now I'm going to do the rest of them because that one is holding them all in place. Could have started at the other end. Trying to make sure that I give my fingers plenty of room to operate without getting hot solder on them, and that looks pretty good. Except for I've got sort of a glob on here, this first one. Come off of there. Doesn't really matter. If I wanted, I could cut these off, but it doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me right now. Maybe I'll cut that glob off. Thump. Cool. What do they want us to do next? The capacitor. And that is one of these little, I always think of them like gumdrops, but they are non-polar. I can just stick it in here where it says C1, pull the legs outward so it stays in place, and then I'm going to solder it down. All right. I think it's called a film capacitor. I could be wrong. Q1, so that's our transistor, and then the two diodes. All right. Transistor goes over here. You've got a flat side indicated in the silk screen. I'm just going to push it through there, and that's the same as the flat side on the transistor, of course. This one does not have your usual sort of a lot of the times the legs on these will be bent outwards, and that helps you with seating it. So I'm just going to do that by hand because the legs of the transistor are closer together than the holes on the PCB. And now they're probably a little bit too far apart actually, but whatever. We don't have to get too fancy here. Stick those through there. And there we go. That looks pretty nice. Actually, that was pretty perfect. Good job, me. Hold these down. And solder some more. All right. Cool. Now the LEDs are all that's left. So, which way do those go? All right. So, as with many LEDs, these have a little flat side on them. I don't know if you can really see that, but maybe if I add some contrast. Can you see how there's a little lip on this bottom side, but none on the top? See how that's kind of cut off or filed down, it looks like? Or more likely just manufactured that way. That is showing you that one side is different from the other. On a normal LED with two legs, a positive and a negative, the flat side will usually be the ground side. In this case, I'm just going to follow this guide that says the flat sides go to the outside. Also, there are little dots here that I believe they indicate either the common anode or the common cathode, depending on which type of LED you have. I'm assuming. It could just, yeah. So I'm going to just assume that that means the longer leg as well. So the longest leg here corresponds to the one with the dot on it, and also the flat side is pointing to the outside when I line it up like that. So I'm going to assume that that's correct. Now, does this actually go down into there, or do you have yes, okay, cool. Sometimes you have little sort of flat, wide parts on the LED that make it hard to have it go through. If we look at the other one, pardon me. Oh boy. See how there's these little sort of flattened parts? That can make it hard to push the LED through, but in this case it worked pretty well. So let's solder those on. Then it will be time to do the battery. Very exciting. Got to make sure I can actually see what I'm doing, because these are the place where it's most likely to bridge a connection between two of the pins, and that would not be good. It would mean that our LED would not do cool stuff. Not do all the cool stuff anyway. If I bridge two of the color leg pins, then it'll probably be okay. You just get, oh no, yeah. No, there's a bunch of bridging there. That's no good at all. I should try and get some flux in here is what I should do. But I'm not sure where my flux is. So instead, I will try and find my desoldering braid. Which appears to have been lost in our recent renovations. So, as a third strategy, I will remove all the solder from my soldering iron and just try to heat up this joint and kind of pull the solder away, which has gotten rid of one of those bridges now. So that's cool, that worked. You can also use a solder sucker to sort of take away excess solder. I might try that right now, actually. Solder sucker. Depress the lever, push the button, it pulls up, creates a vacuum, pulls away the melted solder. So I'm going to melt this. I've pushed down the plunger. I'm going to... That wasn't very precise. That did not do the job. It's a little hard to get them both in here. It's a very small area. At least I'm not trying to do this on the chip, which would be not a good way to have a bunch of the heat staying on there for long. I can't really get the solder sucker down in there. But most of the solder bridging the two contacts has been removed. Come on. Come on. Nobody likes a bridge connection. Quit being a jerk. What I should be doing is wearing safety goggles if I'm going to have my eyes this close up to the solder joint. But, I'm not. I'm basically just trying to sort of guide it up away from the circuit board right now. Actually, if I separate these legs near the bottom, that should help. Because the bridge isn't right down at the pads. There we go. There we go. Now all my pads are happy. Okay, let's cut these off. And these are going to be underneath the battery holder. You can see the outline of it there, which means that I especially want to clip these close and make sure that in clipping them I'm not actually causing any overlap. That could short. These legs are very close together, which makes it a little bit tough. So what I'm actually going to do is heat them up a little bit again to make sure that they're all nice and globular. Not all of them at once or the LED might fall out. But this is good. Great. Alright, now time for the other one. Let's put the long leg through the dotted hole, and also that makes the flat side face outwards. Doot, 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 doot. I should really look up the name of that Portland hackerspace, because I know I've been there a couple times, but right now my memory is failing me terrifically. Speaking of which, if I ever run into a live event and I don't remember your name, it's nothing to do with you. It's my terrible memory. I think a lot of us nerds have that going on. We meet a lot of people, which is a great thing in our community. And if anyone forgets my name, I try not to take it personally. And I've certainly been introduced to many people like 3 or 4 times. It's a hazard of the profession. So this time I'm going to go ahead and sort of bend these apart beforehand so they don't all end up bridging each other. See that? Alright. Give myself plenty of solder to work with. It makes it a little bit more fiddly to actually solder these, but then I won't have bridging to deal with, so. Get in there. Trying to get it down on the pad. There we go. That's a lot. Let's get that off there. There we are. And last one. There we go. Is that bridged? No. Beautiful! That worked. Okay. Let's get those off of there. I like to kind of hold the leg down with my finger while I'm cutting it off, because that way it doesn't fly off wherever. Gorgeous. Alright, time for the battery. Here we go. It's got this little nubbin. This side is the positive part of the battery. This is the ground part of the battery. You can tell because on the battery itself, it's got a big plus on this side, and that side is the sort of jacket. This always happens. This packaging is terrible. I hate these. There we go. See how one part of this wraps around the sides? That's the positive one with the plus on it. It connects to the sides, whereas the other one just has a little plate, and that's the ground side. I'm not going to put that in yet because I'm going to solder it on, and to get it out you have to like depress this little lever and stuff, and it's a little bit of a pain. So let's attach it. Oh yeah, see? Didn't quite cut those super close, so now it's a little bit ornery, but we'll get it to work. I'm going to reuse my trick here of sort of standing up the solder so that it stands by itself. This is going to take a bunch of solder because it's a big hole. Come here. Come here. Getting it to melt is such a pain. Come on. I'm just gonna do this with my other hand as well. If I were clever, I would whip out my third hand, but all my third hands have sort of broken and been turned into robots because they are disobedient. Sometimes 2 hands are enough. This is a little bit wiggly, but I think that's just because there's multiple different parts to the battery holder. I don't think it indicates that that solder joint is wobbly. I think it's just, oops, yeah, the nature of the part. Get in there, you. Come on. There we go. That's pretty satisfactory, if a little scorched. I thought I had hit that LED with the soldering iron for a moment, but I didn't. Nice. Okay, so let's throw the, I actually really like this design. I would totally wear this as a choker. Let's throw the battery on there and hope that I did a good job. Yes! Cool. Oh, interesting. Right, because these are mounted in opposite orientations, it's hard for you to see this, but the bottom, these each have like a green and a blue piece of diode lit right now, and the green is on the bottom on the left and on the top on the right. Ha! Look at all these little... There's some cool little effects going on. They're kind of hard to see. What if I turn the brightness way down, actually? Still really bright. But there's some cool little flickering effects going on right now. And they're turning to purple. Yeah. Neat. I like it. Oh, right. It's a temperature thing, isn't it? I'm still not sure how the temperature part works. Also, these have been cooling. So maybe the like cyan color is like hot temperature. And purple is a more lower temperature. See how that is purple now? I'm not sure how exactly it works. I'm really curious, actually. Wait a minute. What is RV1? When I tap that, the color changes. What's going on? Wait. Yeah. Does it have to do with these? RV1. I don't think I've seen that before. What does the website say? Am I missing a part? Well, they would have mentioned it. Watch this space for an assembly video. Well, you've got your assembly video now. What is RV1? Oh, here we go. It's intended for a potentiometer. Oh, that makes sense. It'll allow you to vary the base point on the color wheel / gradient. Yeah, haha, cool. The ADC connected to the center of the 5 potentiometer pads is pretty sensitive, so it's the analog digital converter on the center of those 5 pads. Just bridging it to the outer pads with a fingertip should have a visible effect on the display color as long as the bridge is present. Cool. Let's do that again. And try bridging it to the outside. Yeah. Oh, boy. That was the wrong thing to show. Come back. There we go. Yeah, so that's definitely varying the colors, right? Very cool. So that's badge number 1. Badge number 2. Ooh, what's this? Oh, that's from the battery. Very distractible. All right, so badge number 2 is... This is a collaboration between Twinkle Twinkie and our friend Nick Pissarro, who does a lot of cool badges. They both are really amazing badge makers. I kind of wish that this were some kind of a touch responsive thing. It is not, but this badge does have a cool trick up its sleeve. Let's take a look. It's also a pun, which we'll get to. Oh yeah, so I had a segue here, which is that DEF CON, this is the DEF CON logo. One of the sort of progenitors of the DEF CON PCB badge movement, which spawned a whole badge love community, is our friend Joe Grand, who's really cool, and his Optic Spy device has been featured on here before. I love it. It's very cool. You should check out all of his stuff. He's an OG hacker. Really cool. Oh, hey! And they're actually featuring the Baby Shark one. Cool. So this badge, as you can see, is a shark, and it also has what appears to be a spool of wire around it. It is a pun, I believe, on the hacking application Wireshark, which allows you to analyze network traffic over Wi-Fi and possibly other protocols that I don't know about. Yeah, so it's very cute, for one thing. It's a collaboration with Nick Pissarro, aka High Energy Beams on Twitter. Oh, pardon me. And if I turn it on, or maybe just push this button. Oh boy. Let's get this a little closer. You can see there's an LED that comes on. It's pretty cute. And this is a reference to another meme that got popular, which is the baby shark dance. I will spare you the audio of this video. I just actually looked it up for the first time ever. I became painfully aware of it over the past year or so. And it was a phenomenon for a while. If you missed it, you can go check it out. Be warned, it will definitely get stuck in your head. That's the whole point. Now, finally, something that I'm pretty excited to try out for the first time is this pin from pinscollective.com, which allows you to wear GIFs, basically, in a little round form. Pardon me, GIFs. Yeah, and it's really cute. Check it out. So we're going to try and upload a new design to it. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. Now I've got doot stuck in my head. I'm going to turn off my soldering iron before I forget. And where did it go? Did I throw it over there for some reason? No, where is it? Ah, it has fallen. Here we go. So it says Pins Collective on the back, and it has a little micro USB connector, and here we have an eye, and it's doing some cool little animation things. Nearly done here. This is our last one, and I just downloaded the app so that we can do some cool stuff with this. I'm excited about a few of the options. You download it, you make an account, and you can create and upload your own pictures. If I go to the latest ones, there's some Erykah Badu designs. There's like a cat with a vacuum cleaner, Hoover. There's the little kid with the cotton candy. Cute little guy. Probably a reference to something. Kobe Bryant tribute. A cool cat. Isn't even moving, just kind of hanging out. Some memes. Daenerys. There was one that I thought was really cool. Oh yeah, I thought this Tesseract was really cool. Let's try this. Oh, so I can wear it or save it. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to try wearing it. Wait, I have no devices available. Give me a minute. I'm assuming I have to connect via Bluetooth. Yes? Maybe I have to add the device. Add pin. Pin 1. Pin 1's good for me. I want to know what this I one is, though, because it's really great. Again, it was a gift from a friend. So it could have been like a handout from a conference or just some kind of a cool thing. Oh, well, you're being a jerk, so open one. Can we continue, please? I would like it if you would let me continue. I wonder if I have to, like, hold down this button or something. Probably not. I'm probably just going to mess up the process, but I'm going to try it. Because nothing's happening right now. Okay, that turns it off. That could have been anticipated. Looks like it's charging. Okay, now it's on again. Let's try quitting and relaunching the application. Pins collective. Okay. I'm gonna go. Still doesn't let me add the pin. Okay, come on. Come on. Oh, now it doesn't want to do it at all. If all else fails, we still soldered something. Come on. I just hit the button to try and wake it up. There we go. Pin 1. Continue. Let me use it. Let me do it. If it continues to refuse to work, I'm going to take it apart. Consider that a threat. Let's see if there's any comments telling me that I'm doing it all wrong. Pardon, which I may well be. It's super late here. Thank you. Does the polarity matter when soldering resistors? I got the answer. Yes, or it does not matter what the polarity is of resistors. Well, this is not working. Let me see if there's something I need to do on the Bluetooth side. I mean, it is working. It's got this really cool little blinking eye thing on it. And I think it's an OLED. It's got, multicolor display. Even though this particular one doesn't seem to have color incorporated in the animation itself, it's still, you can see that it's got little kind of gradients, right? And they're kind of purpley and greeny. This is not working, but that's fine. We put together this DEF CON badge, which is very delightful, and does all kinds of cool little color things, and we make a very cool choker, I think. We listen to the Wire Shark Baby Shark badge. And we checked out the Pins Collective badge, which is not currently working, but it will. Or it'll be dissected, whatever. Your choice, badge. Your choice. Oren says, try repair it again or turn on/off the Bluetooth. Sure, I will do that again. It's definitely seeing the badge on Bluetooth, which is why I'm a little, skeptical about that helping. But I did used to work tech support, and I do know the mantra, if it's not working, try turning it off and on again. So in that spirit, we're going to do it. I have quit and I'm about to relaunch the app. Do-de-do-de-do. For good measure, I will turn this one off and on again as well. Off. Let it sit for a few seconds. And yeah, you don't see anything right now. That's good. That's all well and proper. Then we got a battery indication, and it's there. And we're searching. Probably takes a minute to fire up the old Bluetooth. Or else it's just not gonna cooperate at all. That's also an option. Yeah, we found the secret third option. It just doesn't work. Alright. Oh, wait. I had to hit the button. Okay. This is what I get for wanting to bring you like a live video after doing a bunch of taped interviews. I really prefer being able to communicate with people in real time and sort of share the moment. But sometimes things like this happen, especially when I've been hacking all day and then I try and do a video at like 1:30 in the morning. You get what you get, alright? Yeah. So that's still not working. I will be back another day if it does work, or else we'll have a lot of fun taking it apart. It's a very pretty little gadget, and honestly, if this is all it ever did, that'd still be pretty cool for me. Plus, I have a sweet new choker that I have no way of turning off unless I straight up remove the battery, which is okay, but kind of a pain depending on how much fingernail you have. Ugh. And then we have this guy, whose battery has actually lasted a really long time. Okay, enough of that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have an awesome rest of your whatever day it is for you. And I'll hope to see you again soon. Hack on.